Hilal. He's the president of Applied Medical Resources Corporation in Rancho, Santa Margarita, California. Applied Medical is a company dedicated to meeting the innovative needs of progressive surgeons and clinicians. He's here to testify on behalf of the Medical Device Manufacturers Association. Since 1992, MDMA provides educational and advocacy assistance to innovative and entrepreneurial medical technology companies. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It's on. Madam Chairwoman, Ranking Member Chavit, and members of the committee, I address this committee on behalf of Applied Medical and the nearly 200 members of Medical Device Manufacturing Association, as well as the countless other smaller medical device companies in this nation who face significant challenges accessing the hospital market. Innovation in the medical device arena is fueled by small companies working with clinicians, scientists, and engineers to enhance the quality of care. Applied develops and sells devices for progressive, minimally invasive surgery. And back in 1988, we set out to create a company that can improve both healthcare and the financial outcomes of new modalities. And we did. In the process, we invented and innovated many procedures and many devices that achieved these end targets. But clinicians do not have access to the best and most cost-effective innovation, mainly because of the anti-competitive practices of dominant suppliers and certain hospital group purchasing organizations, or GPOs. Now, originally, GPOs were established to help small hospitals aggregate their purchasing power by combining them together, by banding together. And instead, they have become the marketing arm of dominant suppliers and failed to achieve the intended goal of lower cost. This is because back in 1986, Congress created a safe harbor from the Medicare anti-kickback statute and permitted suppliers to fund the GPOs. Until that time, GPOs functioned more like cooperatives funded by their own members. But once the GPOs began to rely on key suppliers, on giant suppliers for funding, they lost the ability to independently review products, and in many situations, GPOs contracted with the suppliers who paid the most fees. Fees that are actually percentages of the total contract price. So the question, would a GPO go with the $20 million price or the discounted price of, say, $10 million when they are collecting 5% on either? Or are we creating a conflict here? Giant suppliers very quickly picked up on this and manipulated this situation to lock out smaller suppliers. We at Applied have had the good fortune to be able to fight back. We had the staying power. It cost us dearly, and it took 10 years to break into the market. Before the market even opened up a little bit for us to get into it. But for every Applied, there are countless small medical technology companies that continue to be totally foreclosed. To start restoring competition in the healthcare, it is imperative that Congress appeal the GPO safe harbor and move GPOs back to the hospital-funded model independent of the large suppliers. According to Harvard's competition expert, Michael Porter, there is no valid reason for buying groups to accept financing or any payment from suppliers. And speaking of those dominant suppliers, while ending the supplier kickbacks to GPOs would actually provide a better competitive landscape, it is but the starting step. Small companies in healthcare face monopolies and duopolies that engage directly in anti-competitive activities, including predatory pricing and bundling of related and unrelated products. We have repeatedly suffered from the predatory market powers of giant companies, regardless of their respective market share in the contested arena. But Applied and hundreds of companies like Applied's have suffered the most from the total absence of oversight and enforcement in certain areas. And in the face of the latest predatory approaches by large monopolies and duopolies, our antitrust laws have been watered down or shelved, while the new practices and tactics, have taken hold. At a time when the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission should be taking a more proactive oversight role, the recent DOJ report takes the wrong direction and creates additional safe harbors, not less, for the monopolies at the expense of competition, consumers, and innovation. This is not the direction the U.S. government should be taking. Progressive European and Australian agencies are way ahead of us in these areas, and they're dealing with violators firmly. We can and must do better. In conclusion, these practices by dominant suppliers and some GPOs, individually and collectively, damage open competition and increase the cost of healthcare. By repealing the GPO safe harbor and providing proper oversight and enforcement over maintained monopolies and lockstep duopolies, I believe we can benefit patients, hospitals, customers, healthcares, and providers. Thank you.